Welcome to I guess this season's final episode of the Toronto Until Blue Jays podcast. I'm Steve Artabello with Anthony Harris and Theo Giordano. You can find our website, torontoontilt.com. You can find us on Twitter at Toronto on Tilt. You can find the video of this podcast on YouTube, Toronto on Tilt. And of course, you can find the audio of the podcast online anywhere that you listen to podcasts. That's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Breaker, Bleaker, all of the things. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell your friends that the Blue Jays aren't going to make the playoffs. Today sucks, basically. I guess we'll get right into it. The Jays obliterated the Orioles. Wasn't even close. Swept the O's. But because they dropped that series to the Yankees, because they've dropped so many games throughout the season, they're going to miss out by one game because the Washington Nationals are terrible. Even though they had a 5-1 lead, they lost. And the Yankees won 1-0. So it's a Yankees-Red Sox playoff wild card.
That's what Rob Manfred wanted.
Did the Mariners end up winning today? By the way, I didn't check.
Well, they weren't. They were getting spanked.
I didn't care after the Red Sox.
Yeah, I was about to say, let me take a look for posterity.
Because I just want to say that we were the only team that held up the bargain for the 4-team playoff.
Yeah, no, the Mariners lost 7-3. They got spanked.
We were the only team that held up our end of the bargain for this fun 4-team playoff we were going to have, and none of it came. Absolutely heartbreaking.
90.
They did their thing last weekend. This weekend, they came through in the best way possible, dominated, and it doesn't matter.
I wasn't even watching the Jays game. I had it on in the background, but I was just staring at this Washington game. I'm like, we're good. We're winning this game. From the first pitch, Springer hit it out. It's all right, this is going to be fine. And it looked like we were getting help until we weren't.
Well, yeah, that was the thing. They were obliterating the O's. So, yeah, we all flipped over to the other games. Kept an eye on the Jays game, but they were destroying them. So it was just every time you'd look, it was oh, they've scored another run. They scored another run. They scored another run. Okay. And then Washington's up 5-1, and you're getting excited. And Tampa's keeping it close because it was 0-0 into the bottom of the ninth. God, it's just we were talking about this before the podcast. This Jays team, you had 4 guys over 100 RBIs. You have Ray, who's probably winning the Cy Young. Semion's going to be third in MVP voting. Vlad might win the MVP. Alek Manoah could win AL Rookie of the Year. So many things went right for this team. Steven Matz down the stretch. The fact that Ryu came back and was, serviceable in that Yankee start.
Hernandez is a legit bat in this lineup. Proved it this year again.
After today, what was it? 114 RBI, something like that. 30 dingers. Unbelievable. I think you had Biggio come back against the Orioles. Looked like he's back. Santiago Espinal. Danny Jansen coming back from his injury.
Elite catcher now.
Yeah, just being the best hitting catcher since he came back from that injury.
Yeah.
Lourdes Gurriel having the hottest month ever. I don't know if you mentioned.
Until he gets hit in the hand and then couldn't play. Oh, God.
It seems
so many things.
Everything was lining up.
Yeah. And it's at the beginning of the season, I'd be thrilled that this happened. And even a couple of weeks ago, it was just have some meaningful September baseball. And you had a lot of meaningful September baseball. The problem is it hurts so much is because you can point to so many games where you're how in the fuck did they lose that baseball game? The Tyler Chatwood games, the Brad Hand games.
Dolis
pitching when he couldn't feel the baseball. Tanner Rourke starting and going to the bullpen before getting DFA'd. The weird decisions to bunt. So many problems. And it's just this team... this team felt like it should have been a playoff team. This team feels too good for this to happen. The fact that they didn't play at home until what? Did they even get 20 home games? Or 30 home games maybe?
It was July 30th.
So many things went wrong, and this team finished one game away from the playoffs. So that's what hurts so much is you can look at all these individual things when it's only one game.
And we were talking earlier about where this team ranks in Jays history. as far as how good they were. And you would have to put this team up there with any team we've seen recently, even the 2 playoff teams. Like, this team had one of the better rotations in baseball. I'm not overstating that too. Matt's been
100%.
unbelievable. Even with Ryu being a little down, they were unbelievable. The lineup,
Barrios, nails. He had 2 bad starts, and they were his 3rd and 4th start with the team. And other than that, he's been nails.
The lineup, best in baseball.
Manoah.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah.
We didn't even get the Pearson year we needed, and we still found a replacement.
And then at the end of the season, fucking Nate Pearson starts looking at like what he's supposed to coming out of the bullpen, blowing people away. He's throwing strikes. He's throwing 100 consistently. The off-speed pitches are there. They're in the zone. They had talked about maybe he was tipping his pitchers with his slider. Literally after that report came out, did he allow more than 2 base runners in like 7 innings? He K'd almost 2 guys every time, like every inning he was out there after that. Like Julian Merriweather comes back and looks like he was supposed to look like. Simber has a season out of nowhere. They go get Trevor Richards, and he was phenomenal other than like 1 home run against Verdugo. And the home run that Stanton hit that wasn't even like, it's an excuse me swing that almost hits him in the fucking shins, but it's in the second deck. Like, I was at the whole Yankee series, by the way, and it just fucking hurt. I wasn't here last week because I was on a fucking East Coast road trip. Boys held it down.
I told everyone you quit.
No, that's not what happened.
I just said we didn't know where you were gone. You just
I know you bastards didn't even cover for me. I see how it is. But yeah, so then I went to the Yankee series when I came back because one of my buddies decided to stay here, so we decided to go to that whole series. You win the Garrett Cole start, and that's the only start you win in that series. Like, they don't. Taillon, I feel like I was talking about this with my buddy I went to go see the game with. I think actually it was him that said it. I feel like they win that start if Taillon doesn't get hurt. Because they were all over him, and then Michael King comes in and they can't hit him.
He was in the beginning of the season too. He had that game where he pitched
where he had like 5 scoreless. Exactly.
Like, what the fuck? Some random pitchers can just own this team. Even if they throw multiple times against them. They just control the Blue Jays.
Oh God!
It's like the Bauer game from a few years ago in the playoffs, and he got hurt with the drone thing. We're like, oh, cool, they're gonna use their bullpen.
There were so many guys they couldn't hit now. Who's the fucking Ryan Merritt?
Yeah,
right. We're not shaking our boots at Ryan Merritt, and he goes and shuts them down. And then of course Andrew Miller, who they just couldn't hit at all.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. He'll just throw teams off, right? Like, they prepare for one guy, and then all of a sudden they get it.
By the way, did you guys see that Joe Siddle video?
No.
He was tearing up talking about this team. It was the most emotional thing. He was like, there's a video of Vlad. He's like kind of like crying on the bench almost, and then Siddle's talking about how like great this team is, how much they've done for the city, how they've just been so exciting to watch, and then just like, that guy needs to be our manager. You just need to figure it out.
I love Joe Siddle so much.
He's already in the building every game.
Well, and like Charlie's coming back.
He might be coach of the year.
Right?
Manager of the year, sorry. Yeah.
If they made the playoffs, he legitimately could have won that. And it's just like, didn't he win it last year in the shortened season? He almost won it in the shortened season.
No, he won it.
I'd like it. I'm not a fan.
Well, Dwayne Casey won it for the Raptors and got fired the same year.
Yeah, because Masai Ujiri's got balls.
Yeah, so.
And they won a title after that.
He knew what was really going on. Yeah.
Yeah, they literally won a title. God. It's, again, at the beginning of the season, if you would have told me this would break down like this, I'd say it'd be a great season. And to be honest, it was a great season because we point to all the positive things. It just hurts so much because, again, you can point to so many specific pissed away games.
Yeah, I want to look at the other side of this too. We were saying that would have been a good result for the season because we're assuming that these young guys were still coming along. If we knew what we were going to get from them all season long, Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Teoscar, we would have had higher expectations. We would have said this is a 100-win team probably. The way like that offense.
And again, and even if they play at home, this team might be fighting with the Rays for the division.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? Like, it sucks that Boston's pitching fell apart at the end of the season when I told you they couldn't fucking pitch, but the offense was there.
Both the Yankees and the Red Sox are so happy they didn't have to see us again. I know the Yankees just beat us in a series, but like.
Yeah, but they chose to play the Red Sox if it was in that fucking 3-way tie because they're scared. Garrett Cole's a little bitch.
No one wants to play the Jays. None of the teams left to.
People said that about the Mariners. Like, the Mariners are the team. You don't know. The Jays are the team.
The Jays have like 100. Well, actually, after today, it's like 186 fucking positive run different. Like, they were that offense was a juggernaut. That starting rotation by the end of the season, like Theo said, was one of the best in baseball.
We undermined
the bullpen was unbelievable too down the stretch. Finally, like it's
with Pearson too, especially.
We haven't said enough. We just had a Steven Matz like resurgence this year. Like, do you know
how ridiculous that was?
How bad he was when he came here.
Yeah. Well, not even that. Remember when we were talking about, like, I even said with Marcus Semien, he had a chance to be really good. I don't know if he was going to have the Josh Donaldson year. He almost had the fucking Josh Donaldson MVP year. Yeah. If Vlad doesn't play out of his mind and Shohei's not a unicorn, he wins MVP. He's going to win a Gold Glove, a Silver Slugger. Robbie Ray for 1 year, $8 million. He's going to win the fucking Cy Young.
They spent $25 million on those guys this year.
Right? 26, I think, because it was 18 and 8. Because Semien got the qualifying offer, right? He got 18.
Okay, yeah.
I thought but still, exactly. No, but like still, exactly. Like it's
like that's what we didn't really see coming because we knew our young guys were good. We didn't know how good they were going to be. And then our questions were like our rotation, what's going to happen there? It's very fragile, right?
Yeah. You know? And now next year you look at it, you're like, Ryu's at the bottom of that. Because it looks like if Pearson pitches anything like that, he's going to be in the rotation. Manoah was phenomenal. Barrios is coming back.
Yeah, they're 1-2.
Robbie Ray, they will have to make the Godfather offer.
Yeah.
But if you get Barry back,
that contract's going to look like.
You have Ryu as your 5. Like and I know Ryu kind of had a struggle down the stretch, but after a full offseason, I assume he'll come back healthy, looking good.
Well, I think he'll also look fine now that he pitched this many innings after the shortened season. You know what I mean? I think that'll help next year as well.
I think fatigue was the biggest thing with him.
He came off the DL and he looked pretty good in that Yankees game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think he only went 4 and 2/3, but like
the Yankees were working his count pretty early. Like they were hitting them well, or like working.
Well, and they were basically a playoff game. Like you had to, you know what I mean? You had to get what you got out of it.
Yeah.
And it came through today. It just sucks, man. Like there's no other way to put it. It just sucks.
Yeah.
Like there's plenty of reasons to be positive, right? Like again, Teoscar, Vlad, Bo, like that was ridiculous. Springer, when he was healthy, was everything that was advertised. Lourdes, the way he finished the season. And the issue is Randall Grichuk, the way he finished the season.
First of all.
That's another issue.
The hell was he getting starts today?
That's a bunch of like.
How was he playing at all?
That's the thing. How do you get rid of that?
Well, the thing is, they're going to trade Gurriel this offseason. I'm almost certain they're going to do it because this is the highest his value is probably going to be. And
part of the Jose Ramirez package. That's fine.
Oh, if they could do that, I'd be so happy. Because like I get like if Simeon's not coming back, I'm putting Kevin Biggio back at second base.
Yeah, that's the replacement.
Right.
I don't know who else is on the market that is
they also
attainable.
Have Groshans too.
That would be better.
Yeah, but Groshans was hurt again this year. Like he
is he even playing second base?
No, well, he'd be third. Yeah, right. So they got to look for someone to play third base next year. And again, it's because there's so many things up in the air. Because like Semien should get a pretty ridiculous contract. And I don't know if the Jays are going to be able to give that to him. Because, like, Teoscar's going to need a contract, too. Teoscar's in ARB. I think this is his second year in ARB. He needs a contract. He's a guy that you try to lock up this offseason, I would assume.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what they're going to work on.
And then, like, what's a contract for Bo and Vlad going to look like? All that financial flexibility is starting to go away. Right? Because, these guys are performing the way they were supposed to. Now, granted, yeah.
Well, I was just gonna say Semien's like gonna be 31.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know.
Now are you going to give him a 5-6 year deal? Because he's probably going to get something like that. Like he should get more money than he should get more money than who's the second baseman that signed?
DJ,
yeah, he should get a bigger contract than DJ LeMahieu.
He's way more valuable than him.
Does he play shortstop?
Yeah, and he's a better
well,
guy, way
and he
better.
could go play shortstop even with all the shortstops available.
He's gonna, if he doesn't stay with the Jays, he'll be a shortstop somewhere else.
Right? So,
He's not gonna play second anymore.
well, he could if he goes to a place with an established shortstop.
I guess, but I don't know. We were in a unique situation to give him that contract to play second base. I don't
Or
know.
do we just have to find the next Simeon next year? Is this just the thing? We have to find
The
one
next-
thing.
I don't know.
Maybe
Maybe
he
maybe you
did
get
it
lucky
on a
and you
one-year
get Trevor
deal.
Story on a 1-year deal, but then he's playing shortstop. That's another issue, right? Because that I don't know if you're gonna be able to do that with any of the shortstops this year, because they're all gonna want to play shortstop. They're not
think
like
he's
they're
gonna
not fucking
take-
around.
You think he's gonna take a 1-year deal?
And it depends on what his market is, and I'm terrified the Yankees are gonna give him like a 7-year, $1 bazillion deal.
They're gonna get a shortstop for sure.
100%.
Who it's-
Glaber's going to go back to second base full time.
Yeah. I just really don't want to have to like boo Semien in a Yankee uniform. That's
Oh, don't even bring that up.
the last thing I want.
Him or Ray. We just have to. I can't. Anyone but the Yankees. Anyone but the Yankees.
And with the Yankees and the Red Sox need starting pitching. Eduardo Rodriguez is going to be a free agent, and they got Evaldi and Sale. Sale was great down the stretch. You got Tanner Hawk, who's probably going to start next year for the Red Sox. Like it,
Selko knocked down the third today, and they won.
the Red Sox are going to be a problem. More so, I think, than the Yankees are next year, unless the Yankees do a lot of stuff in the offseason.
Well, the Yankees, they will do. They haven't really spent a lot in a few years.
But you know who's going to be the market in
Vince
New York
Cole,
now?
I mean.
The New York Mets are going to be spending, which should hopefully take something away from them. Maybe.
Well, we'll see. You think what? You think they're going to keep Baez? I don't know about that.
I think the Mets are going to go crazy this offseason.
They're going to sign Robbie Ray. Right.
Oh,
That's
I
what-
hope that makes me sick. I
him
don't
and
want that to
Stroman.
happen.
Well, they got
Stroman was cheering.
Actually-
Stroman sent a nice tweet today about us.
Isn't Noah Syndergaard a free agent?
Yeah. Well, how many innings you going to get?
Steven
out of
Matz
that guy?
replacement.
Oh man, like there's so many interesting things that could happen this offseason. I guess another reason to be positive is like this Jays team went out and signed Ryu. They went out and signed George Springer. You know what I mean? Like hopefully Teoscar gets extended. I don't think Bo or Vladdy are signing extensions anytime soon.
No.
I don't foresee that. I'd love it, but I don't
I
foresee
highly
that
doubt
happening. Especially not before they actually hit
Also-
ARB.
Another thing, there's a CBA negotiation this year too.
Well, that's
There's more of
kind
that.
of the elephant in the room. Is like, is there even going to be a season with the way that these two sides are?
We can't,
Right, because that's a real thing. And then if that happens, when you have this team, like there could be an entirely new structure, and who knows when free agency kicks in and how it works with years of like all of that could change.
This was the fucking year, man. God damn it.
That's it
So
it
fucking
sucks,
bad.
man. It fucking sucks. There's not really much other way to put it. Like again, there's so many positives to like this is a young team with a great core, and they were more competitive than they ever thought they were going to be. And Vladdy lived like the biggest thing is that Vladdy was who we like. What we said if this team was going to compete, it was because Vladdy was going to be what everyone said he was, and he finally was. He
Do you
almost
wanna
won
know
the
how-
triple fucking crown.
Do you want to know how good this team was? We barely mentioned Springer's injury. I don't think we brought it up yet. He was hurt.
I
for most-
mentioned it literally when I was talking about how great he was when he did stay on the field. So exactly. The $160 million man had over 22 home runs after today,
Yeah. So
Right?
How many of those
like 60
Boston
games.
He missed like almost all of those Boston games, right? He might have played in like one series.
Yeah, maybe.
No,
and
the
he's probably
one at
hurt.
home he played against the home run game where
Yeah.
he hit that big
Yeah.
comeback home
No,
run.
but that's what I mean. And he
He
hurt
missed
himself.
most of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
That
it's
could have,
just-
That would have been the
Well,
difference.
and how many games did he miss against the Rays? How many games did he, right? Like Danny Jansen finally figuring it out because when he got hurt and went down to Buffalo and got to work just on his swing again and came back looking like he's never looked that good because he hit for a high average in the minors. He hit for some power, but he's never hit for this much power. Like you had Kirk, who at one point was red hot and on fire, and then started to be a good catcher by the end of it.
Yeah.
Wasn't just a bat, was like a valuable catcher behind the plate.
Do you think he's a trade piece? this
I
offseason?
definitely do because with Gabriel Moreno, I
Yeah.
think is number 5 or number 6. He's between 5 and 8 on baseball. Here, actually, let me see if I can find the new
Well, Kirk's
Baseball
the
America
younger
rankings.
one.
But he's essentially Gabriel Moreno now is like he's in now the prospect tier of guys like Bo and Vlad. Like that's what Baseball America thinks he is an elite prospect, one of the best in the game.
Yes.
Right. And you have that coming. So you could see him next year. Right. Kirk could be gone in a trade. You
Kirk
could
will be in Cleveland
actually
next year.
I was just about to say,
Kirk
like,
and Gurriel for Jose.
that was actually exactly what I was about to say. Like, that Cleveland likes Gurriel. I think he's got 2 years left in the deal, plus a year of service, like an ARB year at the end of it. Kirk, he's got, like, I guess a year of service time, technically, like a full year of service time, maybe. His year, like 1.1 years of service time. Fuck, I'd trade both of those for 2 years of Jose Ramirez at like $11 million. A switch hitting bat that plays Gold Glove defense at third base.
We might have to throw in something else, but
yeah, you probably have to throw in like a random pitching prospect, but like a guy, like a body at that point.
Yeah.
Because think about what you're giving up: 2 MLB roster pieces
for the
and
best
Indians,
third baseman
under cost control.
Yeah.
Like that's
and
a
the
big
Indians
deal
need a
for
catcher. The Guardians, I guess now, and then the season's over.
Yeah.
They're now the Guardians. They need a catcher, right? They always need outfielders.
It sounds perfect.
And they don't want to spend money, so that just works perfectly.
That's what I mean. It's super cost controlled.
I'm the biggest Gurriel fan ever, and I would do that trade.
Yeah, well, they need a left-handed bat, and that's a guy that would probably hit third for them.
Remember Brantley? Remember when that was going to happen?
Oh, don't even bring that up because he had such a good season.
Yeah,
He would have fit so perfectly.
Oh, well.
And even speaking of fit perfectly, another one, Corey Dickerson, just like came in and
he was like
He's a good
I
baseball
think they
player.
said like a 750 or 760 OPS since he came over with the Jays, and he was the lefty bat that helped break it up, and he was solid. Like that
he's
trade.
always
Think
been
about that
solid.
trade.
we fleeced.
Joe Panic and a guy that they cut, like a random pitcher that they cut for Simber and Corey Dickerson.
It's a cheap team, take advantage of the cheap team.
How much better would it be to have Corey Dickerson as the 4th outfielder instead of Grichuk? I know it's not going to happen because he's under contract.
So much better.
Like we're probably going to lose Corey Dickerson.
I hope they try to get rid of that contract by attaching him to something, or by going and getting some massively, like if they go trade for someone who's got a huge contract and hand him back.
Does Cleveland have anyone like that who's making?
No, because they don't give out
And
contracts.
they get rid of them before that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Yankees need to unload somebody.
Aaron Hicks.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants that contract.
That was their
That's-
3 hitter.
definitely
For
don't.
like
That's not really enough.
That was their
That's not really
3 hitter.
enough.
Beginning
Yeah,
of the
no,
season.
I don't want Aaron Hicks in any way, shape, or form. Fire him
He's
into the
just
sun.
hurt all the time.
Exactly. There's no value in that.
He's better than Grichuk, but he's always hurt.
He's better hurt than Grichuk. Him on the IL is more productive.
I don't know. I don't want to see Randall Grichuk next year take very
No,
many
it
at bats. To
seems
be
like
fully
we
honest
pick on
with
him
you.
too much, but it's just like, dude, we have such an amazing team. He's a black hole. Anytime anything bad happens, it's Randall Grichuk's involved. It's just like, and I will give him credit. Without him at the beginning of the season, in April, we were having a bad start offensively. He kind of kept us up, but like the same thing every season. He just cannot go for a whole season.
When he could play center field during that time too.
Yeah, well, there were some times when Springer was out where like his defense at center field did help because you couldn't have
He had a
really
good
trusted
defensive-
anyone else.
Yeah.
It's just again like there's a lot of positivity. There is, right? Like it's just there's still some heavy lifting that's going to need to happen in the offseason. There's some huge decisions that are going to need to happen. Additions are going to need to be made. Subtractions are going to need to be made, right? And like you're going to lose guys. You're going to have to trade something to get something, right? Like if you want something good, you have to give up something to get something. That's just the way it works. So,
So
I
just
don't know.
Jays fans, get ready for Kirk and Gurriel. Like, not saying it's going to happen, but there's a good chance that trades like that happen, and guys like that who are fan favorites are not here anymore.
Yeah, they could be gone, right? And who knows? Like, and if they trade Grichuk, they might have to attach they would have to attach a prospect. There's things that would have to happen in this offseason, right? And Randall's got not just next year, but the year after on his deal as well. Still,
Yeah.
Well, they're not paying Tulo anymore, so we got that goal for us.
yeah, great. Well, that's the thing. They also do have a lot of financial flexibility next year, like a lot. Yeah, the payroll is like $60-something million. So
Yeah, we were saying projecting at over Once.
And
What's the
maybe
payroll?
maybe it'll be 70. So like they're gonna add $100 million. Now again, like they're gonna have to come to deals with Teoscar, like even in just ARB. But hopefully they can get him locked up to like a 4 or 5 year extension. Maybe 6. It depends how much money you give him, but Teoscar's going to be expensive. Like that's a thing that's going to happen. He was so good. So I don't know. Is there anything else that you boys want to get to? Because again, it's just that there's a lot of positivity, but there's going to be a lot of balls in the air this offseason, and today just sucks. Just straight up sucks.
You want to give World Series picks?
Oh, fuck that.
I think the Giants are a team of destiny because, like, think about it. It's like Buster Posey and a bunch of dudes. Like Brandon Crawford's having this ridiculous resurgent season, but like they're getting walk-offs from like Lamont Wade Jr.
He's
constantly.
Yeah.
No, but you know what I mean? Like it's so many just bunch of dudes type of team that I feel like they're a team of destiny this year.
You know, my pick is the Milwaukee Brewers. Because
They're a wagon. That ain't a bad pick.
Nobody cares about them. You know the Dodgers World Series odds are like 3-1 still, and they're in the wild card. That's how like high value people are on them still.
I'm dead serious. I'm sticking with the Giants. They're my team of destiny.
Wow.
I'm gonna go with the Brewers.
I would say Brewers, Astros, World Series.
I think the Astros are going to beat the White Sox. I think that's going to happen.
I think that's the most likely outcome. I don't think that's a hot take.
No. The White Sox have been in cruise control for too long.
They have.
Well, they had that division locked up because that division sucks.
The Brewers were kind of in the same spot.
Can we realign to the AL Central? Can we just realign to the AL Central? It makes sense.
It would be nice, but it's not
swap
going to
with
happen.
Cleveland? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, I want to play Kansas City 18 times a year. I would love that.
Yeah, but Detroit, swap with Detroit. That's fine.
Detroit's like our natural rival, though. Weren't they?
I also hope Detroit gets Carlos Correa. That'd be great.
They're going to be stacked soon.
Yeah, I did exactly when Spencer Torkelson, Riley Green, all of them start coming up. Like you look the way Tarek Skubal ended the season, the way the season Miz had, the fact that Manning started to kind of figure it out near the end of the season because the beginning of the season sucked, but near the end he started to figure it out a little bit. Like the Tigers have some legit pieces. Like they could be a really interesting team soon. So
yeah,
man, this is not a Tiger show.
No, exactly. So yeah, obviously the podcast will not be happening next week because the Jays season's over. We'll be back to do like when there's Jays news, when we feel like we need to pop in, we'll do podcasts. We'll pop in to talk about stuff that's happening in the off season. Yeah, it's been a great year. It just sucks. Today just sucked. There's really no other way to put it. Today it just sucks.
Meaningful September baseball.
Meaningful.
We always want that,
baseball.
but it's still sad.
Meaningful October baseball.
Yeah, it got into October. Yeah. Well, this has been the Toronto Until Blue Jays podcast. I'm Steve Artabello with Anthony Harris and Theo Giordano. Like I said, you can find our website, torontountilt.com. Follow us on Twitter at Toronto Untilt. Follow us on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Check out the videos. That's Toronto Untilt. And of course, the audio is anywhere that you listen to podcasts. Apple, Breaker, Bleaker, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everything. Like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends. Yeah, today sucks.